Hello and welcome everybody to another one of my Fall of the Samurai online battles, number 2, I believe this one is. And as you can see, I'm facing off against Flight of Icarus, and we're on the Rice Fields map. I will say my voice, you can probably tell I've still got my cold, my flu. Thankfully my sore throat is pretty much finally gone, but my voice is still to recover, so it's going to be very low and rumbly. So I'm sorry if you can't hear everything I say. I'll try and enunciate and pronounce everything properly, but if I just sound like a low rumble, then you know why. So started off, I actually had just unlocked parrot guns, and I don't think they're called parrot. If they aren't called parrot, whoa, that was a nice shot. If they're not called parrot guns, I'm going to call them parrot guns because I'm just used to saying it like that. And I know that it's is it Yari Kai rather than Yari Ki? No, it's Yari Ki rather than Yari Kai, but I always end up calling them Yari Kai. But you guys know what I mean when I say Yari Kai. I mean these guys. Anyway, I'll go through my units that I've got. I've got 2 units of Yari Kai, Yari Ki on my left, a unit of Black Bear infantry next to them, and then I've got 5 units of my elite Black Bear infantry and 1 unit of French Marines, which I've nicknamed the Old Guard, in my elite unit here. Behind them, I've got 4 units of Spear Levy and a further 2 units of Yari Kai. And behind that, my General's Bodyguard. I've got Patriot guns here firing. My opponent, Icarus, has got 2 units of Yari Kai on his left, on his right even, and hidden behind that he's got some parrot guns as well. And then he's got a mix of units across here. He's got Black Bear infantry, 3 units of Black Bear infantry, 4 units of Black Bear infantry. Go along, let's go. He's got, I think, 6 units of Black Bear infantry and a unit of infantry of Marines, and then 2 more further units of Yari Kai. And then obviously his general. And I try being probably very noobish and sneaky, trying to snipe at his general with my cannons first of all. I'm not using the first person mode when I do this, because actually in multiplayer, first person mode is tweaked a little bit, so it's not as overpowered as it perhaps is in the single player. Whoa, I think someone's guts just exploded there. When you do it, you can aim. You still go into that first person mode where you see the reticle, as it were, the aiming reticle, but you don't follow the shot to your enemy, so you can't really gauge as easily how well you're going to fire. So generally in multiplayer, I find you won't need to use first person mode anyway. He pulls back his general, taking out 10 of his men anyway, so I thought I'd try and, on the off chance that I get a shot there, I brought these guys purely to see how effective they were in a multiplayer battle, and just see how I could cope with them. I did, and then I saw his cavalry over here, so I thought it might be a chance to get some shots off here. And see, that's quite a devastating shot there. As these guys vet up, they'll obviously become a bit more accurate if I improve them there. So he's moving up his cavalry on the right flank, and he's also made a move to do it on the left. He's got no spear units at all. So he's got no meat shields or anything. It's because he's got more of his veteran units, and obviously they cost a bit more. His Marines are far more vetted than mine. Although I generally do have more vetted line infantry. I think his cannons are more vetted than mine. Yeah, 2 chevrons, whereas I've only just got mine. So he pulls up his cavalry over here on the left, and I decide that while he's got them stationary, I'm going to try and charge him with my units. Now I only do this because I realise that both of my cav units over here have got 2 chevrons, and I know that I've enhanced their charge bonus. They're hidden, so I just kind of charge them through until the enemy appears. And they've only got, one of them's got 1 chevron, the other one's got 2 chevrons. So technically I do have the superiority in stats, so as long as I can get my charge in first, I should be alright, which I do. And these guys start hammering home and instantly send these guys wavering. Same happens over here, and do quite a lot of damage to both of them. This unit actually manages to hold its own a little bit. Meanwhile the cannons are still going on. He's just hitting my Marines here, because my parrot guns have now been sent back. They serve their purpose. They act as a little bit of a nuisance, and I guess it will turn into Napoleon Total War. Whereas if you saw my tactics of that, it was always my artillery to take out the enemy artillery. So over here I've managed to push one of the cavalry units back, and I've now squeezed the other one between my 2 Yari Kai. Haven't taken that too heavy casualties. Still got over half on both of them. So that's good here. So my cavalry now, the plan was to go and take out his cannons over here. And that's when you'll see it will reveal he does have some spear troops hidden craftily behind the parrot guns to defend them. Very clever on his part. And he also moves this unit of Black Bear infantry round to see if he can get some shots off. He's coloured his units quite nicely, all very unique and independent. I just prefer to leave them with default colours. I'm boring. Or that way they all match my where is it? My general's jacket. I like it. It's my general there, big sword, looking quite chuffed. So he's got the same cavalry on his right flank as well, and I haven't revealed. This one unit of cavalry is sitting outside, and we're not going to look at that though, we're going to look at this. So I charge in, see a spear unit coming out, I try and distract it so that this unit can sweep in the sides, and he starts going for it. Meanwhile, I think I try and get a side charge on this unit here. My cavalry does charge through, but I managed to pull them out in time, and the spears do get caught up a little bit with this cavalry charge. Oh, that spear was right in his face. That looked painful. I do manage to charge in, and I do manage to waver his Patriot guns, which is what I want to do. And his spear unit actually starts wavering as well. So I've got them pinned with that unit. I decide to charge in with my other cav unit. But at the last minute, he manages to push my cavalry away and does manage to reform. So I decide to try and pull this unit away so I can harass his general later. This unit's broken, it's routing, so I've effectively done the damage that I wanted to do there by attacking his cannons. As I said over here, one of the units, my cav, my Yarikai, hidden here, the other unit's exposed a little bit. And I've still got this unit of Black Bear infantry, which I kept in the tree line, which was to defend my cannon if the enemy cav got through. So I take this opportunity to try, if I can, to attack his general, do more damage. His general's obviously a lot more vetted than mine. He does manage just about to pull it behind his infantry, his Black Bear infantry, which is a shame. They were just about here, and I was trying to pull them around his flanks so they wouldn't get decimated, but it's too much, and they do break, I believe. Yeah, they break. But it was a close attempt, and I was hoping I could just be able to get in against his general, but unfortunately not. Now over here, his parrot guns have actually stopped routing, and here's the gun crew, as it were. So they can go back and they start firing shortly, and his unit of spear levy here remains. But I'm just starting to assess the threat. Well, he's played it pretty chilled, and he hasn't put the pressure on from this flank. I would have perhaps, while that was going on there, if you could have got the macro going and pushed on my right here, which would have probably caused me a lot of problems because I wouldn't have been able to keep up with it. But he's got his cavalry set here, which in a way I kind of guess is good, because it means I can't really advance without having to constantly watch this flank. So that's a good tech too. And I don't want to push up just yet, because I personally feel that he's got more powerful infantry, particularly these infantry of marines here. But in actual fact, looking at my men, my guys are a little bit more vetted than his, so I didn't need to worry about that too much. And I've also got more of my spear troops still, so I can use them as meat shields to cover my approach. So he's got his Patriot guns here, and they're continuing to fire on my men. Well, actually, watch, they're hitting my elite marines. They're using the scatter shot, I think it's called. These guys are really taking it all on the floor there. Nicely synced. So he's also using his cannons to fire in on the flanks here, and I pull them back here into the trees. And yeah, they're hiding in the tree line there, so they won't get hit by those guns anymore. And he's out of the scatter shot now. Meanwhile, on this right flank, I should say, I pushed up with my Black Bear infantry, and he hasn't seemed to have noticed that I've done this. And I'm supporting them with spear levies to protect them. I managed to push back one of the units of Yarikai, and I think I maybe get 1 or 2 shots off on the other unit, but none of them take any damage. But now this means I've got a whole dominance on the right flank here, and it also means that I can use both my units of cavalry, which I brought into the trees. I can send them out on the right flank now, because I've now got cav superiority on the right. I don't have any cav left to go on the left. But I do have superiority now to put the pressure on the right flank. And seeing that he decides to redeploy his men slightly further over on the left flank, and me seeing that as well, I decided to shift right as well with my main line. However, I've still got this unit, which is going to be very vital in a moment to my movement down the left. So seeing as I try and get my cavalry down the right flank before his infantry can get in position and threaten my cav, because while obviously they won't survive a frontal charge, if they get a volley off, that'll ruin my cavalry, and I want to flank round with them. Huh, Lord of the Flies he's called his. I hated that book. Anyway, so I'm moving up with 4 units of spear levy by my men as well, which I think they're quite a worthwhile investment. So what great as meat shields, and I'll show you what I mean by that in a moment, or rather how I use them in fact. And I was talking about this unit over here on the left. It's still got 120 of its men left, and I'm pushing up on the left flank here. Initially I was going to take out the spear units. As you'll see in a moment, I swing them round into the forest here to put pressure on his units on the left here, who he's called Austin Weed. And I see it was meant to be called Gamer James, but spelling went a bit wrong. That's called Barbarossa. So he's deploying his men here. I thought he would have seen my men and pulled out to the right, but he's not being tempted by that, so I'm trying to outflank him here, and then I start pulling into the woods. The rest of my line is neatly lined up in front. And I've managed to send my cavalry around the right here, hidden one unit in the forest, and the other one sort of standing out in the open, is kind of to lure his cavalry out, or at least keep him distracted from the main front. So here it was really a waiting game. I was starting to do my kind of combination of tactics I use in Napoleon Total War, if you watch those videos, and kind of, I guess, Shogun 2 tactics, but seeing as it's more line infantry again, it's more similar to my Napoleon Total War tactics. So I've got this unit here acting as my farmost flanking unit, and I'm putting the pressure by having a slightly staggered line here with the rest of my units, and then another staggered line here. So it means the enemy can't fire on all my units at once, and I can also slowly kind of push the enemy round, and kind of encourage a flanking motion by my own troops, and also it also acts to split up his own men as well. So here as well, this is probably the key moment. This unit can fire kind of fully on that one when they come into range, if they're distracted by this one. Obviously I will have to engage those 3 at the front as well, but they're not spread out as mine, so he hasn't got as many guns to bear on mine as I do on his. We're just out of range. We're basically kind of in a stalemate, waiting to see who would push forward first. I'm just going to speed it up a little bit when we get into range, and it's actually him who moves up just enough on that right flank, I think, for my men to start firing. Just about. Meanwhile, I'll try and put the pressure on him, and also send his general perhaps over to my other cav by bringing them over here, and I want to start causing the flank on here. So while that's happening, I'm charging him with my cavalry here, which is forcing him to redeploy. He can't redeploy in time, so I managed to charge on this unit, and while that's happening, I'm free to push him with my my Black Bay infantry here, which are now just in range of his units on the flanks, and should begin firing any moment now. They're just doing the awkward unit shuffle here. While that's happening though, they fired a volley, so I'm pushing forward my own men, pulling out of the charge here against his Black Bears. So my infantry on this flank are now in range. He's seen that and he's pushing up against my men. This unit I've got vetted the most has actually got, I know his units use suppression fire on mine, in fact. But I do know, there's my unit. These guys got suppression fire going on them, and that'll slow the enemy advance. So the shootout begins, and I start pushing forward with my spear levy to act as meat shields, to one, give my guys a chance to reload unhindered, and also to stop the as many casualties. So here on the left you can see I've hit them with my cavalry. They have managed to push my cavalry back with a volley, but I've started flanking round now, and I've got more units bearing. He's lost 2 of his units, so on this side the flanking process has already begun, and I'm now able to push forward 2 units of spear levy against his troops. So what I'm doing over here as well, but these guys are already taking significant amounts of damage, but he hasn't seen my cavalry charge in the flank here, and his Black Bay infantry are taking a real bit of punishment there. His cavalry also, I should have mentioned, wandered rather close to mine, and I did manage to outcharge him, finish his cavalry off there that was left. So now his counterattack Black Bear infantry are just taking volley after volley from my men. They can't reform. My spear lever units are being pushed back on my right, redeploying my general to give her a rally boost. But they've done their job. My guys have been able to push up unhindered, and I've now got a full-on flank going on my left. So there's nothing you do here. He's charging forward with a spear levy, which he's brought across over here. But my Black Bears are going to get a volley off, and I've also got my unit of spear levy, which has come back from a route here, and it's going to push up against theirs. I've got the numbers to push his back. Well, actually no, I don't, but my charge is more effective than his, being fired at as well. And his whole left flank is now collapsing, because he's having to bend round his main line to face all the guns that I brought to bear on him. I've still got pretty strong units in the centre, and especially on the left. They've done rather well. So all of them being brought down on the Mountain Dew Black Bear infantry unit. Mountain Dew. And he's got his Odessa unit here. His Capital Gamer James unit. And finally his Running Thomas infantry de marine here as well. And his units, his whole left, his right flank, my left, is completely collapsed now, so I can just push up at leisure with and finish off the remainder of his units here. Pushing forward, my general is taking a bit of damage, but he's still in there. There he is in his red cape, his red jacket. Victory is now assured. Finish off the last of his units. His marines have routed now and they're broken. Good game though, Flight of Icarus. I thought at many points during that battle actually he had me on the ropes there. I just managed to pull it around. It was getting kind of, I guess, managed to use my cavalry quite well in that battle. At least I'll say that. It's up to you guys whether you think I have or not. You know what I'm like with my cavalry. It generally doesn't end well for them. Didn't end well for them in that one actually. None of them survived, but I think I used them quite well for their purpose anyway. I hope you could have heard this commentary anyway. You may not have been able to because my voice sounds terrible right now. But we'll just go through the results. Thankfully the Grave Assembly have fixed it in Fall of Samurai. You can now see the deployment, sort of the numbers as well, as well as unit statistics. So I did actually have more men than Flight of Icarus. But he did in some cases have some more vetted troops than me. His marines were far more powerful. But just showed you the effectiveness of flanking there. You can see my units who got the most kills. My Black Bear Beasts, as they're so aptly named. So as always, I hope you enjoyed this part. Please do remember to comment, rate, subscribe, thumb up this video, check out my other parts. Hopefully if I can get a chance later today, I'll record another part of the Nagaoka campaign for you all. As always, hope you enjoyed. See you guys again soon.